And we're joined now by Jon Finer. He is the U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor. Mr. Finer, thank you very much for being here this morning. You know, yesterday, Secretary of State Blinken said that he didn't think anybody really saw this coming, this attack in Israel. Well, the people who planned it clearly saw it coming. They were putting it together. What does it say about American intelligence in that region that we apparently had no idea?
Thanks for having me, Tony. Look, there is going to be a time and a place to look back on exactly how this plot came together and how it was executed. Right now, what we are focused on and what we have been focused on since the minute this broke out is providing support and solidarity between the United States and Israel. We have reached out at every level. Our intelligence officials are in close touch, as they always are. Our defense officials are in close touch. And you saw Secretary Austin, our Secretary of Defense, announce yesterday the movement of a carrier strike group, U.S. naval assets to the Eastern Mediterranean to provide a message of deterrence to anyone else who might seek to expand this conflict against Israel. The president warned very clearly against doing that. And you have seen our diplomats and our president in close touch at the highest levels of our government to offer the Israelis all the support we can in this terrible moment amid these appalling attacks.
Mr. Finer, let's talk about the anyone else side of this and deterrence. It's been reported by the Wall Street Journal that Iran had a primary role in all of this, and a Hamas spokesperson told the BBC they had direct support from Iran. Are you going to believe Iran when they say that, when Hamas says that, of where their backing is coming from? And do you have any additional information to say, yes, Iran had a part to play?
What I can say without a doubt is that Iran is broadly complicit in these attacks. Iran has been Hamas's primary backer for decades. They have provided them weapons. They have provided them training. They have provided them financial support. And so in terms of broad complicity, we are very clear about a role for Iran. What we have not seen yet at this moment, although we are continuing to look at it very closely, is any sort of direct involvement in the immediate attacks that took place over the last couple of days, although we're continuing to look at it. And what I will say is the Israeli Defense Forces are saying the same thing. Broad complicity for Iran, no sign of any immediate direction, although this is obviously something that we're going to continue to watch very closely.
The Israeli ambassador yesterday on Face the Nation told Margaret Brennan that Americans are among the hostages that have been taken back into Gaza, which raises the question of whether the U.S. would offer direct military support, possibly put a team in to help free American hostages in Gaza.
So I expect the situation of the hostages to take on increasing focus over the course of the coming days. And we, of course, will be laser focused on confirmation of any Americans among that group. And again, just given the sheer numbers involved, we do expect that there may well be Americans who have been caught up in the hostage taking as well. And we are going to offer every kind of support to our Israeli friends and counterparts, including expertise on how to address these hostage situations. And I suspect we'll have more to say about that in the next day or two.
All right, Deputy National Security Advisor Jon Finer. Mr. Finer, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, Norah O'Donnell will report live from Israel. And for even more coverage, tune in to the CBS News streaming network throughout the day.
Look, this has been a very long weekend. This has been a very tough situation. First of all, I should say thank you to everybody, our colleagues, friends who reached out to ask how I'm doing, how my family's doing. Heard from a lot of people online as well. It's tough. I have an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old who live in Israel. They live there with their mother, my ex-wife. They are safe, but just as a father, I think people can understand if anybody is firing rockets in the direction of your children without regard to whether they are struck or not, you're going to feel a thing or two. So it's been a roller coaster weekend.
Have you been able to talk to them?
I talked to them as the sirens went off the first time, but the rockets are just step one. I mean, that's the beginning of it. I've been sad and angry and disgusted to see the news that unfolded in the 48 hours since. We're talking about the direct, close-range murder of more than 700 civilians in their cars, in their homes, at a festival, and then the kidnappings, and then the hostage-taking, and then the evidence of rape. And I think there's enough moral clarity in the world to say that this is wrong, it's terrorism, and if it's being done in your name, speak up. Speak up. I'm also heartbroken for the innocent people who are in Gaza and their children and what will happen to them in the days ahead. And I'm disappointed and frustrated that 75 years, Gayle, you asked, how did it come to this?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that 75 years after the United Nations and the world said Jews, Arabs, live in peace, divide up the land, 2 countries, the 2 people have been unable to do so.
Yeah.
And so 3 generations now have been living through war and terror and trauma. And now it's my kids. It's other people's kids.
Yeah.
What's the solution here? What now?
Help
now?
me understand about the hostages. They take the hostages, and what is going to happen? We heard the experts say, the former intelligence, that don't be surprised if they start killing hostages on television. Do you see that happening?
Hamas is a terror organization according to every major government in the world.
Yeah.
They have committed suicide bombings, cafe bombings, bus bombings, and we just saw their militants kill hundreds of people at close range. What will they do with the hostages? I don't know, but look at their history. There's a clear answer here and understandable fear on behalf of the Israelis.
And Tony, neither side is backing down, but I reached out to you because I was wondering how you're functioning. I wasn't sure you were going to be at work today.
Yeah.
I had to be at work here today, but I also just wanted to be clear with our viewers that I come to this fairly and as a journalist, but I'm also a father.
Also a father.
Right.
And you can't separate those two at a certain point.
Yeah.